The film begins in 1912 at a train station in Norway. The station manager, Gustav, is at work when suddenly his wife Rose shows up looking extremely weak and clearly in pain. Gustav quickly takes her to his room to see what's wrong, and he's shocked to find out that she's going into labor. 2 weeks earlier than expected. He runs to get a doctor. After a while, the doctor arrives with his nurse, and they begin the delivery. But things quickly take a turn for the worse. Rose starts bleeding heavily. They try to save her, but sadly, she dies shortly after giving birth to a baby girl. As soon as the doctor and nurse see the baby, they're stunned. She's completely covered in hair from head to toe. She looks more like an animal than a human. At that moment, Gustav walks in to check on his wife and learns she has passed away. He's heartbroken. Then he sees his daughter for the first time and is horrified by her appearance. He refuses to even touch her. He screams and tells them to get that monster away from him. The nurse tries to calm him down and explains that the hair might fall off in a few days, but he refuses to listen and storms out, devastated. Their neighbor, Brig, decides to take care of the baby temporarily until Gustav calms down. At Rose's funeral, Gustav is crushed and still can't bring himself to name his daughter. One of his friends ends up choosing the name Eva, while Gustav remains silent, drowning in grief. A few days later, Gustav starts to pull himself together and goes to pick up his daughter from the neighbor. Since he knows he can't raise her alone, especially because she needs special care, he hires a nanny to look after her. At first, the nanny is scared by Eva's appearance, but she slowly grows attached to her and begins to care for her like her own child. Everything seems calm until one day, a visitor comes to Gustav's house and sees the nanny holding Eva. He's completely shocked by the way the baby looks. News of the hairy baby spreads quickly across town. Journalists begin writing about her, and her story becomes the talk of the town. When Gustav finds out, he decides to hide his daughter from the world. He goes home and tells the nanny that Eva is never to leave the house, not even near the door or window. The nanny agrees at first, but later confronts Gustav, telling him it's unfair to keep an innocent baby locked inside. She says Eva deserves to see the world, even if just for an hour a day. Gustav is moved by her words. He buys a special stroller so the nanny can take Eva out without being seen. He also draws her a safe path to walk. The nanny begins taking Eva out from time to time using the hidden route, and the days go by. One day, the doctor who delivered Rose visits Gustav and tells him he arranged a meeting with a specialist named Dr. Storm, who works with rare cases like Eva's. Gustav immediately agrees. Dr. Storm arrives and examines the baby. He explains that it's normal for babies to have a layer of hair while still in the womb, but that hair usually falls off around the 7th month of pregnancy. In Eva's case, the opposite happened. Her body didn't shed the hair, and instead, a mutation occurred that caused it to grow even more. Dr. Storm says it's an extremely rare condition and there's no cure. In fact, the hair will continue to grow thicker. He also warns them not to try removing it, as that could make things worse and cause even more hair growth. Of course, Gustav was listening to all this, shocked and heartbroken. He started to lose hope that his daughter could ever be normal. Years passed, and Eva grew up. By the time she was 7, the hair on her body had grown with her, and she looked more like a lion. She was kept locked in the house by Gustav's orders, and the most she could do was watch the world from her bedroom window. Her nanny continued to take care of her, and their bond grew strong. One day, Gustav saw Eva looking out the window, so he punished her by locking her in a dark room. Days went by, and then it was Christmas. The nanny was decorating the tree with Eva and telling her about holiday celebrations she'd never been part of. Eva was fascinated, but also sad because she was missing out on it all. Gustav noticed how happy she was, and it moved him. So he decided to let her join the celebration. He bought her a dress and started getting her ready. At the party, the townspeople were shocked by how she looked, and all the kids were scared of her. But despite that, Eva was happy just to be out for the first time. During the magician's performance, he started making jokes about her, and people laughed. Eva got upset and hit him in front of everyone. Gustav was furious and felt like isolating her had been the right decision. He took her and left the party. Eva was locked up at home again and spent her time studying. She was extremely smart, even though she'd never been to school. Her only friend was Sparky, a worker at her father's train station. He treated her kindly and never made fun of her. Gustav didn't know about their friendship, but when he found out, he punished her again and locked her up. The nanny objected and said Eva deserved to have friends, but Gustav insisted his daughter was never normal. When he realized the nanny had known about Eva and Sparky's friendship and kept it secret, he fired her. Now Gustav was the only one taking care of Eva. One night, he tried to help her brush her hair. She was surprised and asked about the nanny, but he said he didn't know anything. Eva waited for him to fall asleep, then took shaving tools and tried to shave her hair off so she could go out and search for the nanny. But Gustav caught her and yelled at her. When he found out she was trying to find the nanny, he felt deeply sad and guilty. The next day, he went to the nanny's house and apologized, asking her to come back. She agreed, but only under one condition, that he would get Eva a telegraph machine to stay in touch with Sparky, let her go to school, and treat her like a normal girl. Gustav agreed, and the nanny came back. Eva started going to school, and she was very happy. But from the first day, she was bullied because of how she looked. The kids beat her and pulled her hair. Still, she didn't complain to Gustav. She hid everything from him, afraid he'd take school away from her and lock her up again. Years pass, and Eva grows up but still faces bullying to the point she stops going to school. One day, Gustav talks to her and tells her to get ready because they're going to travel to another city. Dr. Storm had contacted him and told him there's a big conference about rare conditions like Eva's, and they invited them so doctors there can examine her and maybe find a treatment. Eva feels encouraged and starts getting ready to travel. She actually goes with her dad. This is the first time he goes out with her without feeling embarrassed or ashamed, and he treats her normally. They arrive at the conference, and they separate them. Eva is put in the patients section. In that section, there are many rare cases like Eva's. Eva meets a young man whose body looks like a lizard. His name is Andrea. He tells her he works with Hans, the manager of a traveling theater group, and all the members have rare conditions conjoined twins, a very tall person because of gigantism, and others. He suggests she join the group, saying she'll feel like she belongs, find people like her, no one will bully her, and she'll even make money. Eva is impressed by the idea and promises to think about it. That night, while she's sleeping, she's shocked when Dr. Storm tries to harass her. She's scared and can't tell anyone, afraid they'll stop her from attending the conference. The next day, she attends the conference, and doctors from everywhere examine her. But she's surprised when they treat her badly, like she's some kind of freak. She breaks down and faints. When she wakes up, she asks her dad to leave immediately. He asks what happened, but she refuses to talk about it. They return to the city, and Eva tries to cope, but her mental state is tough. After a while, there's a financial crisis at the train station, and the government discovers theft. They accuse Gustav because he's the manager, so he's forced to blame Sparky and fires him. When Eva finds out, she fights hard with Gustav, telling him Sparky is the only one who never bullied her, and that Gustav just pushed away the only person who loved her as she is. She isolates herself and stops talking to her dad. Gustav feels guilty and tries to make up with her, telling her he's ready to do anything for her. At that moment, it shows he really loves her and was harsh only because he was afraid for her. By chance, Hans's group is performing in their city at the weekend. Eva asks Gustav to take her to the show if he really wants to make peace, and he agrees. They go to the show, and they see that all the group members have conditions like Eva's. Gustav feels uncomfortable and leaves before the show ends. The next day, Hans goes to Gustav and tells him he saw Eva and that she's very special, wanting her to join the group. Gustav strongly refuses, takes it as an insult, and kicks Hans out of the house. But Eva overhears the conversation and starts thinking. She's alone and can't continue her studies because of bullying, so she decides to join the group, hoping to find a place where she belongs. She leaves without her dad knowing and leaves a thank you and goodbye note to the nanny for everything she did for her. Eva joins Hans's group and starts her journey with them. As the years go by, she keeps performing and tries to save money to continue her studies and achieve her dream of getting a PhD. She succeeds in raising the needed amount and begins preparing for her doctorate. In a short time, she achieves her dream and becomes a university doctor. Despite her special condition and everything she went through, she never gave up and became an example of determination and willpower for many young people. One day, Eva receives the news that her father, Gustav, has passed away. She is deeply affected and travels to attend his funeral, feeling sad despite the harshness she experienced with him. After the funeral, she meets the nanny who was the closest person to her and played a big role in what she achieved. Eva wanted to stay and tell her about her achievements, but work forced her to leave, so she said goodbye. Before leaving, the nanny gives her Gustav's private notebook. On the train, Eva opens the notebook and is surprised to find it full of drawings of her at every stage of her life. She remembers how she always tricked Gustav to draw her, but he used to refuse. At that moment, she understands that he loved her deep down, and his harshness was out of fear, not hate. Eva cries deeply because her father never saw the results or saw her achieve his dream for her. And the movie ends. If you like this summary, don't forget to like and subscribe so we can reach our first 1,000 subscribers. See you in a new recap.